He told every class about how you won the Spinnaker Art Festival on your first entry when you were only 17.
How embarrassing. Every class?
Yes, it was always in his first lecture.
Savannah struggled to keep her voice from breaking. It's going to be difficult to...
Your dad looks so strong, so healthy, and so positively vital, if you know what I mean.
Yes, it was a shock.
He was such an excellent teacher and mentor. How are you going to manage everything?
I'm not sure yet. Savannah's stomach fluttered. Sorry, but I've got to go. I'll see you in class.
Savannah clicked the receiver down before Amanda could continue.
You're not the only one who is confused about why he died.
Savannah finger-combed her short black hair, tugged up the waistband of her skinny jeans, and rolled up the cuffs of her classic white shirt. It was her basic teaching uniform. Calm, she focused on getting the shop ready for the day's business. Shoving the key ring into her back pocket and picking up the waiting stack of student handouts, she walked into the classroom. Situated between the office and the retail area, the large classroom contained 6 sturdy work tables for students, each with a tall wooden stool. As she placed a large brown manila envelope on each of the work tables, she remembered how her dad had experimented with various table sizes, table heights, stool types, and the number of students per table. He'd tried to rope in Hugh to help, but his longtime assistant had no empathy for a student's environment. However, the crusty Hugh could teach a mule about the beauty, art, and mystic nature of always liquid glass. Her dad's meticulous research had resulted in the current configuration of 3 rows of 2 work tables facing a whiteboard on the front wall and an instructor work table facing the class. He'd practically wiggled with joy after he'd found the perfect environment for his students to create great glass art. She switched on the overhead natural lighting that illuminated the projects of former students displayed around the walls. Her heart wrenched when she noticed her dad had placed her first piece, the traditional green turtle suncatcher panel, on the narrow shelf of the whiteboard. He had been planning to use it for the first demonstration project. Tears immediately formed, and she pulled a tissue from her back pocket to press them away. In her mind's eye, she saw her nail-bitten child's fingers struggling with the pieces of green glass. She had desperately willed them to be nimble and sure as she assembled the little turtle under her dad's watchful guidance. It must have pleased him to no end to use it as an example for the class. After switching on the task lighting lamp for each work table, she walked to the room at the front of the shop facing the street. It served as the student display gallery and retail section. It was neat and orderly as he'd always kept it. Off to her right, she looked at the closed door of her dad's custom workshop. They had spent many, many hours working on delicate restorations, complicated repairs, and amazing consignments for almost every church in the city. Deliberately delaying opening up the workspace that held her oldest and strongest memories, she found the right key and unlocked the front door. If I don't open the workshop door, I can imagine that he's still in there working on his latest project. I know it's childish, but I don't have to be a grown-up all the time. At 20 minutes before 10, it was a little early to open the shop, but some students preferred to arrive early so they could lay claim to their work area. She looked out the floor-to-ceiling windows that ran the length of the storefront to see a short man with an elaborate comb-over getting out of a red BMW, then striding up to the door. "Rats," she muttered. It was the owner of Latimer's glass shop, her dad's competitor. She pushed down a rush of panic and put on her face reserved for welcoming customers. Savannah opened the door. "Hi, Frank. What brings you down here to the Grand Central District? Your shop is still downtown, right?" Frank pursed his soft lips into a thin line.
Good morning, Savannah.